All right, on today's main...
Take two.
Okay. It's a hot episode. It's coming in like a heat seeker. I think, bear with me here, where the fuck did Velcro come from? I use a bit of colorful language every now and then. You know, fuckity fuck. Today's a little bit different. I'm the guy that reads bullshit, and that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Now, by God, that is what you call clickbait. Got me? I'm right there with you, signing right the fuck on. Now, who in the hell is Max Azzarello? This dude decides that he's going to light his ass on fire in front of the courthouse where Trump is standing trial. That motherfucker's on fire! That motherfucker's on fire! Am I even allowed to say he should have set other people on fire? Just because someone says something does not make it fucking so. That don't make me fucking Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. That don't make me Jesus Christ. That applies like a fucking charm to the entire cryptocurrency segment. I fully embrace the idea that cryptocurrency is a Ponzi scheme. I'm Brett Johnson, former United States most wanted criminal, now good guy. In today's world, criminals come in all shapes and sizes, but they all have got one thing in common. They all have criminal thoughts. On today's episode is a fiery episode. It's a hot episode. It's coming in like a heat seeker. Why is that? Well, because we're talking about a gentleman by the name of Max Azzarello. Now, who in the hell is Max Azzarello? I understand you may not know who he is, but you may remember about a week ago, outside of the Trump trial, some little dude set his ass on fire. That fiery critter is none other than Max Azzarello. So why the hell am I talking about him? Well, it turns out that he had developed, well, I won't say he developed it. It turns out that he was a believer in a very convoluted conspiracy theory. So we're going to walk through that. That conspiracy theory has a lot to do with cryptocurrency. So, in kind of a sly, underhanded type of way, this is a crypto episode. Before we get to that, let's check in with Brian and see what he's got for us.
HB 167, which recently cleared the Alabama House of Representatives, is now awaiting deliberation in the state Senate. The bill proposes that all mobile devices sold in Alabama must come equipped with an obscenity content filter activated by default. However, the approach proposed by the bill presents significant technological and legal challenges, along with broader economic repercussions. From an economic perspective, HB 167 could have unintended consequences, potentially deterring technology companies from doing business in Alabama.
All right, so let's talk about that last little tidbit there, because as you may know, I am in Alabama. I'm wearing the Auburn hat today. That's right, I'm representing. I'm actually a Roll Tide fan, so.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. That's exactly right. That's how you say hello, goodbye, fuck you, everything else. Hello, Roll Tide, goodbye, Roll Tide, fuck you, Roll Tide. See, it works for every fucking thing. What I was talking about, this bill, I'm in Alabama. Anyone who has ever seen the Tuberville dude knows that a lot of us, we're a little backwards. We don't get it a lot of the times. We're dumb as bricks a lot of the times. Now, I say that because they're saying mobile devices. Now, I am positive that when they mention mobile devices, they're actually talking about these cell phones. But the bill doesn't say that. Is that cell phone? Absolutely. Tablets? Absolutely. Nintendo Switches? Absolutely. So, it will have a detrimental effect on the economy. Now, that is not what really concerns me. What really concerns me is this obscenity filter is supposed to be on by default. So, as you know, my show, I use a bit of colorful language every now and then. Fuckity fuck. It gets worse than that, though, because I realize that this obscenity filter may filter out not really the jiggly content, but the adult fare. Now, I'm not sure how the obscenity filter will work if a man is watching porn. And let's be honest, who wants to watch porn on a screen that size? Nobody does. Why? Because their peckers are so little on it. Nobody wants to watch that shit. Now, I'm not saying that I tune into porn to see big penises. I'm not. But I think of it as cosplay. All right? If I'm going to watch it, I want a big one because I don't have a big one and I can live vicariously through that penis. I'm just saying, just throw that out there. I'm imagining that if Alabama also, let's move on to the next story because I'm getting my ass in trouble right now.
Israel Easter Day, the January 6th defendant who took a Confederate flag to the Capitol and wore an I Heart Trump beanie as he assaulted police officers with chemical spray, was sentenced to 30 months in prison Monday. Easter Day was sentenced to 30 months in prison as well as 500 hours of community service along with $2,000 in restitution.
What's this fucking idiot's name again?
Israel Easter Day.
Israel, no wonder you got tongue-tied on that. So Israel Easter Day is absolutely a sufferer of FIS, fucking idiot syndrome. Look, the thing is, if you're going to do dumbass shit, dumbass things will happen to you. You're going to get your ass in trouble, which is a lot of the story of our main episode today with Max Azzarello. I don't really have much to comment on this show, this part of this because, I mean, he's a fucking idiot. If you are going to be to assault police officers, to try to storm the Capitol, by God, you had better make sure you succeed. Because if you don't, your little monkey ass is going to prison for at least 30 fucking months.
The government has officially acknowledged attempts might have been made to develop a UFO retrieval program. Declassified documents are shining a light on a possible UFO program. However, the government claims nothing was found, which is why the program was scrapped.
So the truth is out there. So look, we didn't find nothing. There were no occupants. There were no ships. There was just nothing at all. Do not pay attention to anything that you might have heard, anything that you might see. Things are okay. July 8th, 1947, the Roswell Daily Record. Turns out, so I was told months ago, Brett, if you will be to do a show, make sure you stay in your lane. Meaning, hey, you only know about a few things to talk about. I know more than just a few things. I used to be a UFO buff. July 8th, 1947, the Roswell Daily Record. What did they report on the front fucking page? That we had secured ourselves a UFO. Now, that's the Roswell incident. For those who don't know, Roswell, the crash, did not take place in Roswell. It took place in Corona, about 38 miles away. I know this because I'm that numbnuts that I'm a UFO buff. I am. I like that bullshit. Is it possible that the United States government have retrieved UFOs, UAPs, what have you? I personally believe that it is. All right. I mean, we have, if you look at instances throughout history of unexplained flying objects, all right, or unidentified flying objects, it dates back to Egyptian times. You know, you see some of those hieroglyphs that absolutely look like, hey, that looks like some little son of a bitch flying some little fucking thing in the fucking air, and they didn't have fucking airplanes back then. So is it possible that they retrieved something? I believe that it is. Is it possible that once they retrieved something that they were able to maybe reverse engineer something that was out of it? I think, bear with me here, where the fuck did Velcro come from? I'm just saying. Where the fuck did that come from? Because that shit popped up all of a sudden. This is what you got to look out for. Mulder, Scully, I'm with you. The truth is out there. Let's go on. On today's criminal insight, you know, usually I'll give you a nice little, like Bretty has stolen a quote someplace or Bretty stalked some quote over as he's having some sort of fucking DMT trip or whatever like that. Today's a little bit different. Today, because today is basically You may not know it, but today is really a crypto episode just in a burning man's clothing or absence of clothing. You know, the thing is that when I actually with Shadow Crew, I used to teach this lesson called the perception of truth is more important than the truth itself. It doesn't matter what the facts are. What matters is what I can convince you of. All right? Bear that in mind. Now, that applies like a fucking charm to the entire cryptocurrency segment. I'm making money on crypto. I absolutely am. If you want to know why and how I'm making money on crypto, because I fully embrace the idea that cryptocurrency is a Ponzi scheme. I have no doubt about that. And as such, I do have some background on how to navigate through a Ponzi scheme. You may not know this, but there are many people, some people, that can become extremely wealthy through Ponzi schemes. Not the ones who are running the goddamn things, but people who buy into it, those investors, all right? And the reason that happens is the early investors come in, they're told they're going to get 20% returns, 50% returns, whatever that is. The scammer pays those returns to the initial investors by stealing the money from investors that come in after them until finally, after a few years, like with Bernie Madoff and the Ponzi guy that did the stamps and everything else like that, after a few years, what happens is it's hard to get those buyers to keep coming in, and those people who entered in late, they end up losing every fucking thing that they've got. So this is really cryptocurrency, and I want to talk about a token, and it's called Emerald. That's what it's called. We're going to get to that in a second. But before we get to that, I'd like you to realize that just because someone says something does not make it fucking so. It doesn't, all right? I can say any number of things. I can say, Dad, I'm Jesus Christ. That don't make me fucking Jesus Christ. Sorry about that. That don't make me Jesus Christ. All right? It sounded a little odd when I said it together like that.
I'll edit it for you.
Okay, thank you. That being said, just because you see something, don't make it fucking so. All right? I could paint myself brown, wrap myself up in aluminum foil, and shove a broomstick up my ass. That does not make me a fudgesicle. Just throwing that out there. Just saying it. Wanted to get it out there. So, Brian, if we can, because I continue to get myself in trouble today.
I got you.
There we go. I'm going to put my glasses on. So right now in crypto, we've got a huge downtrend, at least in the meme market. Actually, Bitcoin is tanking down as well. Understand, this Emerald token starts out as what's called a small cap token. The liquidity was not very high. The market cap was not very high. You want to know. So, and what this company advertises is they say, if you invest with our token, our entire platform offers you fractional ownership of emeralds. Sounds groovy, right? Fractional fucking ownership of emeralds. That would work with real estate, you know? Enough investors go in and they all own that townhome or that double-wide trailer or what have you. It works with that. It could work with jets. We've seen programs like that before. So this company has decided to make a crash landing into the cryptocurrency verticals and segments by saying that, you know, we're going to come up and offer this token that actually gives fractional ownership of emeralds, and we have an emerald mine. Now, do they have an emerald mine? Questionable. Do they have any emeralds at all? Questionable. Now, here's why I say that. All right. Now, this token becomes popular, and right now it's tanking. Right now it's almost at the all-time low. And the reason why a token like this becomes popular because the owners of this company have paid influencers to go out and shill this token. All right. So they basically say, hey, I will give you $100,000 if you will get on your platform, TikTok, Telegram, Twitter, if you will get on your platform and plug this token. So The influencer gets on YouTube, he gets on Telegram, he gets on TikTok, he gets on Twitter, and he talks about how great fractional ownership of emeralds is. Does that mean that any of that bullshit is real? No, it does not. Now, the reason this fucking thing is tanking right now is because, yes, the guy who initially plugged this thing, he goes by the screen name of Invest with Rex. All right, Rex Paddock, I think is the guy's last name. He's got Telegram channels. He's got TikToks. He's on Twitter. He's got several different types of platforms. So he comes in, plugs this token. Now he has a couple 100,000 followers. Think about this for a second. Now you're in his group. He's already given you several calls. He's recommended several tokens, and these tokens have done fairly well. They've made people profits. All right. So he comes in and he says, my call for this Sunday is Emerald. It's fractional ownership of tokens. It's not like a meme token. Instead, it's a utility token. It has a real world value, RWA, real world value. You should buy it. Now, what makes the value of that token go up is not the utility of the token. It is not that there may accidentally be an emerald mine, or that they're mining emeralds, or that they're even going to give anybody any fractional ownership of any fucking emerald they may or may not have. What makes that value go up is the influencer says to buy it. His followers, you can bet your shiny little ass, his followers are going to buy so much of it. Now, if this were a large cap token, if this were a token that had several $1 million of market cap available, say $100 million, if it was a $100 million token, it would have much more liquidity, which would mean that a small number of followers, of buyers, could not really move the value of that token a lot. All right. But because it's a small cap, the market cap is very low, the liquidity is very low, that small amount of buyers can cause that green candle to appear for those people who believe in technical analysis. It can cause that green buy candle to appear that, hey, this token is getting hot. I say this because this goes into the entire idea of the perception of truth is more important than the truth itself. Crypto as a whole is not about real world value. It's not about utility, what a token can or cannot do, how a token can or cannot help mankind. It's not about that. What it is about is people's perception, their opinion of things. And if you, as influencers are wont to do, if you can influence a certain demographic to act in the way that you want them to act, it makes a token like Emerald look real. Right now, Emerald is tanking. Why is it tanking? Well, it turns out that Rex Paddock, news came out last week and this week that, hey, yeah, he's absolutely paid to shill and advertise these tokens. That's no surprise at all. But a lot of people were surprised about it because a lot of people thought that, hey, he's just doing this for our benefit. Well, it gets a little worse than that. There's a meme token called Brett on Base. Base is the blockchain for Coinbase. A few days ago, some nice little internet sleuths, we're going to try to get one on at some point, but some nice little internet sleuths. They sat their little hind ends down. They started tracing the wallets, and they found out that 81% of all of the Brett tokens are owned by the development team. And they gave a whole shitload of those tokens to Rex and this guy named Crash to get out there and shill the damn things. In fact, as more evidence continues to be uncovered, we are seeing or hearing rumors that maybe, just maybe, this guy named Crash is actually the person who made the token, and then he and Invest with Rex worked together in cahoots. They, what's the word for it? Conspired to fuck everyone over so that they could make money. Criminal insight of the day. Eyes and ears don't always tell you the truth. Always trust. I believe in trusting, but always verify every goddamn thing you possibly can. All right, for today's main segment, main portion, whatever the hell, the main episode, we're talking about Max Azzarello. Max Azzarello, well, let's read some background on this dude. It's tragic, it's idiotic, it's one hell of a story, and there are some nifty pictures that are around about Max as well. So Max Let's read. This is from the New York Times. The headline says, "A life overtaken by conspiracy theories. What led a man to set himself on fire outside of a courthouse trying Trump?" So, was he pro-Trump? Was he anti-Trump? What the hell was this guy? Turns out that he was anti-Trump, but he's also anti-Biden. He's anti-government. Now, just going over, I wanted to introduce who Max is, what some people said about him, before we dive into what happened, what the conspiracy theory is, how that applies to cryptocurrency, government as a whole, things like that, and why conspiracies take place, why people believe fucking stupid conspiracies. We're going to talk about that today. Let's see. Until last summer, Azzarello seemed to have lived a relatively quiet life. After high school, where he was a member of the bowling team, that's right, little Lebowski in the house, he graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 2009 with degrees in anthropology and public policy. So it doesn't sound like he's that much of a dumbass. As a student at Rutgers, where he earned a master's degree in city and regional planning in 2012. He was known for leaving supportive Post-it notes for classmates in the hallways and for his karaoke performances of Frank Sinatra and Disney tunes. Quote, he was super curious about social justice and the way things could be. He was So one of his friends says, quote, he was creative and adventurous. That is probably the understatement of the fucking year. Adventurous? Yes, he was, because this dude decides that he's going to light his ass on fire in front of the courthouse where Trump is standing trial. And for those who may be curious, no, he did not walk his little crispy ass away from that. Brian, can we play the video of what he shot before he decided he was going to set his ass on fire?
Start a fucking revolution. You've got nothing to lose.
Want to learn the biggest secret in the world? In March 2023, sketchy billionaire Peter Thiel started a bank run. I did 1,500 hours of research, and I learned all their rotten secrets. The big one is that cryptocurrency is history's first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. That's an economic doomsday device. And when that Ponzi goes insolvent, as all Ponzis must, we'll get the worst economic collapse in world history. And every powerful person you can think of is in on it. Want to know why everything gets worse and more expensive? That's because we live in a secret kleptocracy. That's when the government gets taken over by con artists whose only job is to steal from the public. And I hope you know this is wonderful news, because now that the public knows about the secret kleptocracy, they get to abolish their criminal government. Follow for more, or read this booklet.
You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot. Well, I got this guy come to visit because he was saying planetary conspiracy. This guy's saying, hey, maybe it's an interplanetary conspiracy. I'm just saying, he's just saying, bear that shit in mind. Yes. Okay, so I am not a dumbass. I'm not. I did not know what kleptocracy was. I did break down the word, and I said, obviously, it's something about stealing because, kleptomaniacs. So I pulled up the Wikipedia page, and it says a kleptocracy is a government whose corrupt leaders, kleptocrats, which are probably first cousins of Democrats, use political power to expropriate the wealth of the people and land they govern, typically by embezzling or misappropriating government funds at the expense of the wider population. All right? So, dude shoots that video. He gets his ass out of his little car, walks over. He's got a handful of flyers with a bunch of this bullshit that he just talked about on that as well. He's got a bunch of flyers. He throws these flyers in the air, He's got some sort of flammable liquid. Yes, he does. He douses himself in the flammable liquid. He strikes that match, and about 4 or 5 minutes later, we have this crispy critter that Brian is going to show us on the screen. That dude. He's hot in the old town tonight. Needless to say, his dumbass did not walk away from that. Yeah, that's it right there. So, and here's the thing. If I'm a cop, or a first responder, or work in the medical field, or I'm just working at the fucking Subway across the street, and I see some dumbass pour gas on himself and light his ass on fire, am I really going to go over there and try to save that dumb motherfucker when I may get a little scorched myself? No, I think not. I'm going to let his little monkey ass writhe and wriggle a little bit until he calms his ass down and the flames go down. Then go out there with a flamethrower. You want a little more, buddy? I'm going to go out there with a fire
Elon's
extinguisher.
flamethrower.
That's right, Elon's flamethrower. I saw a video of do you know they've got like a robot dog for $9,000?
It's awesome.
Man, exactly. That's my thought. It's fucking awesome. I need 2 of those out in the front yard. Any little animal, anything else comes in there, we're going to roast the shit out of that motherfucker. So I'd like to go over a bit of this dude's conspiracy theory. Now, he's not the first one to come up with this. This conspiracy theory is on Reddit. I'm sure it's over there on 4chan, but I don't visit 4chan. I've been there before, but they're fucking idiots largely over there. All right. So I'm a big Reddit user. It's on Reddit. It's been discussed on some Telegram groups and all that. It basically says, let me read. Hell, he's got a manifesto. Of course he does. Here's when you know that you're dealing with a fucking crazy idiot. When they release a manifesto. Who does that shit? Nobody does that shit. You're going to sit down, you're going to write like pages upon pages of bullshit, then go out and kill somebody or kill yourself, then you expect everybody to read it? Nobody's going to read that shit, man. Nobody likes you to begin with. No, I didn't see anybody running over there trying to get you to stop, drop, and roll. Fuck no. They were sitting there with their popcorn going, that motherfucker's on fire. That motherfucker's on fire. Nobody cares about it. Nobody's going to read your bullshit. I'm going to read your bullshit because I'm the guy that reads bullshit. So, his little manifesto, it's got a nice title. I have set myself on fire outside the Trump trial. Now, by God, that is what you call clickbait. Promises something isn't going to deliver. Well, in this case, it did deliver. The motherfucker be burned up. My name is Max Azzarello, and I am an investigative researcher who has set himself on fire outside of the Trump trial in Manhattan. This extreme act of protest is to draw attention to an urgent and important discovery. We are the victims of a totalitarian con, and our government, along with many of their allies, is about to hit us with an apocalyptic fascist world coup. Now, as a side note, is there any other type of world coup other than an apocalyptic fascist one? I don't think so. Guy nailed that one 100% on the fucking head. Continuing. These claims sound like fantastical conspiracy theory, but they are not. They are proof of conspiracy. If you investigate this mountain of research, you will prove them too. If you learn a great deal about Ponzi schemes, you will discover that our life is a lie. The reality that you thought that you had, Neo, is an illusion. Is it the red pill or the blue? Moving right along. If you follow this story and the links below, you will discover the rotten truth of post-truth America. You will learn the scariest and stupidest story in world history, and you will realize that we are all in a desperate state of emergency that requires your attention. To my friends and family, witnesses, and first responders, I deeply apologize for inflicting this pain upon you. Buddy, I don't think that anyone got hurt at all with you setting your monkey ass on fire. I think that you were the one that was deeply hurt until, well, you gave up that ghost. What's he say here? But I assure you, it is a drop in the bucket compared to what our government intends to inflict. Because these words are true, this is an act of revolution. So that's how it starts out. I mean, not bad. Not bad. It's like some sort of, fan literature that, somebody would send in to George Orwell, I guess, some bullshit like that.
You should have started a podcast instead.
He should have started a podcast. It'd be far more entertaining than my bullshit. Last March, a billionaire, and he continues, I'm going to go into this. I'm not going to read his whole manifesto because I can't read it all. It's fucked up. Last March, a billionaire named Peter Thiel started a bank run on Silicon Valley Bank. I knew enough about Thiel that I found this incredibly suspicious. My hunch was that this was intentional, though I could not fathom why. I began investigating online and quickly found cryptocurrency fingerprints all over it. The bank run occurred just days after Silvergate Bank, which catered almost exclusively to crypto companies, collapsed. Meanwhile, several crypto cheerleaders were all over financial media warning of a regional banking crisis, and nobody in media was addressing the clear, very clear, crypto connections. I dug deep into the financials of Thiel's venture capital firm, Founders Fund, and eventually uncovered the following, all proven many times over. Cryptocurrency, I want us to read the bullet points here. Cryptocurrency is our first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. The March 23 bank failures were all intentional. When the Ponzi scheme goes insolvent, it will take down half the stock market with it. It is a Ponzi scheme so large that it created global inflation. As it turns out, our elites are awash in Ponzi schemes. Stanford's StartX.com investment fund and Jeffrey Epstein's program for evolutionary dynamics he ran at Harvard are both fake science Ponzi factories that these schools have invested billions in. So, I mean, you see. So this guy's got it laid out. He didn't create all of this conspiracy theory on his own. It's been put together, tidbits from 4chan, from Reddit. There's actually a Reddit subreddit there that is on conspiracy theories, and you can read about this entire conspiracy theory there. What it says is basically, it says that, hey, our politicians are crooks. Duh. Okay, I can't argue about that. Got me? I'm right there with you, signing right the fuck on. Then it says, cryptocurrency, maybe all of it is just a really big Ponzi scheme. Again, I will co-sign off on that. I absolutely believe that bullshit too. Then he goes on, this theory says that not only Donald Trump, but also Joe Biden are working together to do this fascist coup. That is a bridge too far. I cannot cross that one, my friend, because I don't think that those little happy guys like each other at all. I don't think you're going to see them in a truck stop bathroom giving a hand job to each other. Don't think so at all. Just saying. They don't like each other. It ain't going to happen. I mean, that's what happens in truck stop bathrooms, or so I'm told.
He's really into The Simpsons. Did you see that?
I know he is. And they killed off one of the fucking characters like a week ago, the drunk guy in the bar all the time. I actually read that headline today that they had killed off one of the Simpsons characters, and I'm sitting there going, well, they've went woke, so obviously they've killed off Apu. Obviously. But evidently it was the drunk guy.
It's Larry.
Larry! That Larry I love you, Larry. Have a drink on me, son.
It made TMZ.
That's where I read it was TMZ. I was like, it must be important. It's on TMZ. I don't even know where the hell I was on that one.
Sorry.
So anyway, there's many points that he makes and that this conspiracy theory makes that sound believable, that sound reasonable, that feed into our mass consciousness and beliefs. All right. So understand that conspiracy theories, and I was very fortunate a few years back. I got to sit down with Jason Zirkle. He's over at the ACFE, the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. And we talked about conspiracy theories. And Jason, expert guy, what he said he said, hey, what happens is the reason that people tend to believe conspiracy theories is because those people are looking for an answer for something. They're trying to rationalize something. They're trying to make sense of the world, and sometimes the world does not make sense. So they grasp onto these things that rationalizes it for them, these conspiracy theories, okay? So that's typically why someone believes a conspiracy theory. Add in that you're taking elements that most people believe. I mean, who the hell doesn't believe that a politician is a crook? I believe that. Who doesn't believe? Okay, so you've got the cult of crypto, and those son of a bitches are Jim Jones nuts. If you're outside of the cult of crypto, if you're not one of those adherents, if you're not one of those guys, most people will agree that cryptocurrency is, a lot of it, if not all of it, is a Ponzi scheme. All right, most people. So he's laying stuff in there that sounds reasonable, that causes people to say, well, yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, and then you keep on going because much like you're trying to sell something, if you can get that buyer to just start saying yes, they tend to continue to say yes. Well, yeah, I believe that. Well, yeah, I believe that. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess so, man. And before you know it, you set your ass on fire outside of the Trump place. That's the way that bullshit works. Cryptocurrency. I guess everyone knows by now. I've been doing a lot of crypto posts on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. I've said this before that cryptocurrency has an origin in criminal activity. It absolutely does. As a matter of fact, Peter Thiel, who this guy talks about, he is on the ground floor of a lot of the crypto that's out there. He was around with eGold. He was around with Liberty Reserve. He actually has a theory that Satoshi Nakamoto was on a beach in the Caymans at an eGold conference / party. So it goes back a long ways. All right. Why is cryptocurrency valuable? When Bitcoin starts, all right, the people were paying 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. It really wasn't gaining any traction at all. Elon Musk, Julian Assange, he gets shut off by Visa, so he starts taking in Bitcoin for donations, stuff like that. But it was largely not valuable, and it didn't really have a use case until Ross Ulbricht comes along for his darknet market Silk Road, and he accepts that as a form of payment, the only form of payment. And that is what gives Bitcoin its real utility and real use case, real first world mass adopted use case, all right? Without that, that token would have largely been a Ponzi scheme. You take eGold, for example. eGold, most of the people who bought into eGold were criminals. Liberty Reserve, most of the people who bought into Liberty Reserve were criminals. They used it as a way to transfer value online. Whether you were doing drugs, credit cards, what have you, that's what happened. And Bitcoin takes its place. Now, what's interesting is as Bitcoin grows, it becomes more legitimate. All right. So you get ETFs now, or EFTs, whatever the fuck it is. You get the electronic funds trading, everything else. All right. And now you have a token that is legitimate. But what gives that token any value? The only thing that gives it value is the agreement of people to take it as value. to say that, yes, I agree this token is worth this amount of money and you agree it is as well. I will accept that for payment for services, whatever, or transfer of value. All right, that's the only thing that does. And that's not, here's the thing now, that is not that much different than the historical precedent of currencies throughout history. So long before, you guys may not have known this, long before Isaac Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, yeah, the guy who had the fucking apple hit him in the head, or was that Archimedes? That was Newton. Yeah, Newton. Long before Newton had the fucking apple hit him in the head, he was, actually it may have been after the apple incident, but Newton became the treasurer of currency in Great Britain. He is the person who is largely responsible for the British pound becoming the dominant force for currencies. Back before that, you know, the UK token, it was, there's a reason that tokens today, that coins today had that lip around them. All right. And that's because what you could do, and you'll hear this in text and books and maybe in films, pieces of 8. You could take a coin and break it up into 8 pieces, 8 shards. All right. Or you could just chip off a part of it and people would try to use that as payment. And it worked to a degree because that was what was agreed upon. Newton started to put that lip around the coins so that you couldn't chip off things, so that people would be able to say, nah, I want the whole fucking token, man. I want the whole fucking coin now. You got to give it to me. So that's what Newton was good. And he revitalized and reinvents, more or less, the understanding of currency that we have today. Back in the day, people used to agree that currency, and this is one of the ways that Indians got ripped off, whether they be dot Indians or feather Indians. What happens is that, indigenous peoples would use things like shells, like seashells, as a currency, or they would use maybe driftwood or something like that. Some item is what those tribes would agree that had value. The gold, stuff like that, maybe not as much. And then you get the Europeans coming in. You know, we like gold. We like gold a whole fucking lot. They just want some seashells. Well, fuck. Let's get them motherfuckers some seashells. And then they run out of seashells. They're like, well, fuck. Let's enslave these son of a bitches. That's what happens. All right. But cryptocurrency, because this is a crypto episode, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin achieves that degree of legitimacy over time, okay? So something that starts out questionably as a Ponzi scheme finds its use case in criminal activity, continues to grow, be adopted by more mass market, starts to climb in value because of all these criminals using it. Mass market starts to adopt that, buy into that as well. And before you know it, Bitcoin is the OG of crypto. And most people absolutely view that as a legitimate investment instrument. Now, I say that because you've got Bitcoin, you've got Ethereum, and then you've got altcoins. Some would argue that Ethereum was an altcoin as well. Altcoins are everything else basically that's not fucking Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right. And most of these tokens, the stat tends to hold true that whatever tokens that you see today, like you can go on CoinMarketCap, you can go on CoinGecko, you can look at these tokens, and those thousands of tokens that are there, most people agree that in 2 to 3 years, 95% of the tokens that you see right now, they're not even going to be around. Yet people right now are buying into those tokens. How does a Ponzi scheme work? It works by having something, by causing a desire for something. I want to make some money. An influencer, because I'm coming down on influencers recently, an influencer comes out and starts to shill a token, causing people to think, well, this is going to increase in value. If I buy it right now, I will make some money. That's my primary goal. So that Ponzi scheme has given the opportunity to make money. It's created the desire within the market to buy that specific instrument, token. People come in and start buying it. The initial people who buy that, all right, like today, for example, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so most of the market right now is going sideways. And some of it's going down. And if you're buying fucking memes or you're holding memes, the whole fucking thing looks like it's tanking right now. That being said, there are opportunities. So because I'm not buying any tokens that over the next few weeks look to really do anything, because I'm not sure how much farther down they're going to go right now, I resorted to doing some day trading. And so the token that I bought this morning was called Andy on the Solana chain. So tidbit for anyone that's interested, the two blockchains that are the most popular during this current bull run are Base and Solana. Base is owned by Coinbase, and Solana is an independent blockchain that is a competitor of Ethereum. All right. There is a whole shitload of scams currently on Solana. And the reason why is it's very easy and very cheap to create a token. You can use bots to pump that token up to make it appear that people are interested in it. You can buy advertisement. I actually talked to a guy on Telegram today that his Telegram channel has 2.7 million followers. His Twitter account has 290,000 followers. And what, for $600, he will post your token to his followers saying, hey, this new token's coming up. You guys want to look at it. You think 2.7 million people, there will be a certain demographic of those people who will buy into that token. So I go to some place like pump.fun, I create a token, or maybe I don't even have to do that. I go to radiant.io or something like that, and I can create a Solana token, a coin, all right? Then I can pay these assholes to pump this coin up and make it look like it's popular. I can get a couple of bots running Telegram, running Reddit channels as well, making it look like it's very popular. And that creates this perception of reality that, hey, this token is worth something. The thing is that the initial buyers, so if you come in and you buy a token and you're paying for one token, talking about US dollars, 0.00, and you got 6 zeros before you get to that fucking one at the end, for a couple $100, you're going to get several million of these tokens, okay? Several million. That sounds like that's a lot. And then people come in behind you, and as the token supply dwindles, okay? Supply and demand, as the token supply dwindles, the price goes up. Buyers coming in are supporting the initial people who bought. So if I bought that initial token at 0.0 and you got 6 zeros before you get to that fucking one, if I bought right then, am I going to continue to hold that token for a long amount of time? No, I'm not. Typically, I'm going to look for if I'm a smart person, I'm going to look for a certain number. Is it going to multiply by 2, by 3, by 10? I'm going to pay attention to the buys, to the sells, to the amount of traffic that's coming in. I'm going to pay attention to the way everything's fluctuating across, and I'm going to pick a number, okay? So like Andy today, I bought $1,700 worth of Andy at, it was going off at and there were 4 zeros, 79, okay? It rose in 2 hours. It rose to 2 zeros, 25, like 36 is what the value was. So I ended up profiting on a $1,700 gamble. I ended up profiting about $5,000 is what I ended up profiting. Not bad for 2 hours work, but understand what's actually happening there. I am buying that token. People are coming in after me because I'm an initial investor. I profit on this Ponzi because what value does it actually have? It doesn't. It doesn't accept what people are agreeing on. All right? There's a lot of people out there that still believe to this day that cryptocurrency is going to change the planet. No, look no further. And I think I mentioned it earlier in the show. Look no further than Brett. It's a meme coin. It's on Base. All right. That son of a bitch, that token hit over a $700 million market cap until the truth starts to come out about that token. That truth was, hey, 81%, over 81% of all of those tokens, the team, the people who created the token have it. So they're able to manipulate it. They're able to cash it out. They're able to do whatever they want to. The other 19% went out to the general public. So what does that mean? Well, that means that you've got a few people that control everything. And it's not just Brett. It's not. It's every single token that you can look at has that type of breakdown. You've got a few whales, that's what they're called. You've got a few whales that control everything. What Max Azzarello is saying is he's saying, hey, this entire fucking thing is a Ponzi scheme and it's going to collapse. I mean, is he wrong? Maybe. But I don't think he is, because crypto is not too big to fail. It's not been mass adopted by people yet. We've got, I think the adoption rate, a high number is 17% right now of the worldwide population that use crypto. So it's not too big to fall. But could it get that way? Sure it could, because now we've got Wall Street coming in. You've got BlackRock coming in that's offering EFTs on this stuff, allowing you to buy it on leverage. They're allowing you to buy something that has no value, that does not create anything on the planet at all. As a matter of fact, it wastes energy to create these fucking tokens. Yet they're allowing people to buy it on leverage. They're issuing EFTs on this. Do you think, and think back to 2007, do you think that maybe perhaps some of these instruments may bottom out? Yeah, they could. So what he's saying in his conspiracy theory makes a lot of fucking sense. It doesn't make sense that, you know, all the politicians are working together to overthrow the government. And I mean, okay. Shit,
we'll edit that out.
I was about to say it. No, don't edit it, man. I was about to say it and make fun of it. And then I realized, well, shit, I think I believe that too. You know, this idea that politicians are there to steal from you. I was in Ohio. I went to Columbus, Ohio, about 3-4 days ago to speak for a conference for the Ohio Secretary of State, a gentleman by the name of Frank LaRose. I got to have dinner with Frank the night before the conference. He is the first politician that I can honestly say that I've ever met that I liked. He's the first guy, a Republican guy. I won't hold that against him, but he's the first one that I liked. I hesitate to say that about him. What I will say is I think that the system overall, it's systemic. I think that the system is built in such a way that if someone actually enters into politics with a good heart, that they're not going to stay there long with a good heart. They're either going to quit or they're going to fall prey to the rest of the predators and become a predator themselves. It's hawk and dove. So that's what I believe. But I liked Frank LaRose. I did. You know, this idea, though, that politicians are corrupt. I mean, we see this every day. We see that politicians, you know, I made a Twitter post the other day saying that, you know, the government is not there to benefit you. The government is there to benefit the government. And I believe that. I do. I think most Americans believe that. So, you know, you get hit with something like this and you start talking it through and you see how easy it is to start to agree. Is crypto a Ponzi scheme? Well, yeah. Peter Thiel? Well, yeah. If people who are in the know that son of a bitch was way back in the e-gold days as well. So he's had his hands in crypto for a while. So that makes sense. There's all kinds of things that make sense. So how do you combat that type of conspiracy mindset? Because evidently that needs to be done. We don't need more people out there setting themselves on fire. Or maybe we do. I mean, they said the dude was smart. Personally, I think he's a fucking idiot. That's what I think, because what good does it do? Have you not watched the news cycle? Are you not aware that the news cycle lasts at tops an hour and a half? So somebody's going to watch your video for an hour and a half, then a week later, they're not even going to remember you, dude. They're not even going to remember. As a matter of fact, the same day that Max Azzarello set his ass on fire, I went to the trusty Google because I was looking for the video, not as a, you know, some sort of weird sense of, you know, perversion. I was planning on talking about it on the show. I just typed in MA and it pops up Max Azzarello. That's how popular he was the day after. Today, I threw up the trusty Google, started to type his name in. Google no longer knows who this fucking idiot is. All right. They no longer know because the news cycle has went on its merry way. Now we're doing protests on college campuses and bullshit like that. It's a news cycle that changes rapidly these days. He should have known that. He claims he's an internet researcher. A real internet researcher would have known that bullshit. Don't set yourself. George C. Scott, Patton. All right. What Patton does in that film, it's a great film. If you've not seen it, you need to watch it. George C. Scott, opening scene, you just see the American flag. Then you got George C. Scott marches up on the stage, and he's wearing the tank gear, General Patton. And he says,
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser.
No one has ever won a war by dying for their country. They have won a war by making some other dumb bastard die for their country. And that's the way the film starts out. And it just keeps going. It's a brilliant film. I would have said that Max Azzarello needed to watch that movie because you're not going to accomplish anything by setting yourself on fire. Just between me and you, buddy, you may have accomplished a lot more. Am I even allowed to say he should have set other people on fire?
We're gonna get our results back from New York.
I'm sure we will.
We're gonna go to New York for the call.
That's right. We'll tune in right there. That son of a bitch is out there saying this dead guy should have set somebody else on fire. You could probably pick out some son of a bitch that needed to be set on fire. You got all those news people there. You got a whole shitload of politicians there.
That's true.
You probably got some corrupt cops there. I mean, I'll quit while I'm ahead. You know, I've made fun of it today, but it is a tragic thing that we have people in society that feel that the only way that they can be heard is by hurting themselves or hurting others or doing a protest, if you want to call it, an incident, a cry like this. It's very unfortunate. And, you know, I've said the guy's a fucking idiot, and I truly believe he's a fucking idiot. But, you know, we have a whole population here that, especially in the United States, it seems to me right now that we are subscribing to a host of conspiracy theories. All right. Whether those conspiracy theories be about Joe Biden or Donald Trump or, you know, UFO programs that, you know, re-engineer captured saucers and aliens and bullshit like that. We've got a whole lot of people that subscribe to these conspiracy theories. And it's unfortunate, as my little buddy says. It's unfortunate. I'm sorry you did that, Max. I am, man. I'm sorry you did that. I'm sorry you felt that you had to do that for some odd fucking reason. And, you know, your family, I know you had mom and dad, and I'm sure they didn't want that to happen to their son. So I'm sorry that happened to you. I truly am. Let's move over into crypto for a second, because I want to talk about, I've talked about these influencers. I've talked about the channels. On my Twitter feed today, I've actually called out both Crash and Rex for their interaction with the Brett token. And I've been calling out the Emerald fiasco for a little while now. What makes an influencer, and we're going to end it with this, okay? But what makes an influencer successful in the crypto segment? Okay, so I mentioned this before. I just want to hammer this home. You take a group of people. So Rex, and I'll pick on Rex. Rex's Telegram channel has, I think, just 3,000 members. He's got other platforms where it's a couple 100,000. All right. Your followers, so a company comes to Rex and says, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars to shill this token, to say to your followers to buy it. Okay. Rex really doesn't need, he may look at the token, he may do some research on that. He certainly didn't with Emerald, but he may do some research. But what's more valuable than that are his followers. If he has convinced his followers, if he's established trust with his followers. He's had a couple of calls, recommendations for tokens, and those tokens have went up in value, and he absolutely has, okay? If he's done that, then subsequent calls, subsequent recommendations for crypto purchases, at that point, that population, those followers are much more likely to follow his advice to buy that token. Okay, so he comes in and he recommends a token, or any influencer recommends a token. That population that's in that channel, that closed channel, that population, a lot of those people are going to buy into that, causing the value to rise up. The value of an influencer is not in the influencer. The value of an influencer is in the people who follow that influencer, that community. Because if that community disappeared, that son of a bitch wouldn't be able to do anything. All right? He wouldn't. So the value is in the population. If you can convince a population to do that, you make money, they make money, until the Ponzi starts to fall apart. And then the late people who got in late don't make shit. And you see this every single day on Reddit, on Telegram, on any platform that discusses cryptocurrency. You see this every day. So understand that, okay? I am all for following crypto influencers. I absolutely am. Now, I follow them, but I also do my own research. Okay, so I make sure, like Emerald, dipshit called out Emerald, and he's talking about fractional ownership of emeralds, and I'm sitting there going, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Because I know some history. I know that back in the day, the Canadian Stock Exchange, they had this little thing called BRIEX. Well, what the hell's BRIEX, Brett? Well, BRIEX is one of the largest frauds in history. There's a movie about it called Gold with Matthew McConaughey. What happens is this company claims that they're a gold mine. Claims they're a gold mine. They get all these investors to start sending them money. Were they a fucking gold mine? No, they weren't a fucking gold mine. It was a gold mine for Matthew McConaughey. But a lot of people lost their fortunes on that. A lot of people lost their retirements. A lot of people were destitute and broke. And once you've lived your life, how are you going to recoup that money? You're not. All right. So with Rex, he recommends this token. Nobody did their not nobody. Very few people did their research on this. So you get a whole shitload of people that buy in initially. Token goes up, 6x in value. And then once people start to understand that, hey, man, is there even an emerald mine? Are they even mining emeralds? It sounds a lot. And I think, yours truly, I think I'm the first one that made the BRIEX comparison. Why? Because it's fucking apropos. It absolutely applies. All right? Understand, I'm just trying to get people to understand this, that it's the community. You take an influencer that's been paid for that. That influencer is not looking out, much like the government. That influencer is not looking out for your best interest. That influencer is looking out for their best interest. So it's on you. It's on you to understand that, hey, in all likelihood, it's a Ponzi. This friggin' token that I'm thinking about buying, it's not going to be around in a couple of years. It's going to be worth zero is what it's going to be, okay? So you need to do your own research. You need to have that mindset. And you need to understand that an influencer is not there for you. They're there for them, okay? Can you make money? Shit, I don't know. I'm doing all right now. I've already, got ripped off twice, but I'm doing all right. I had a guy ask me, said that he didn't have any experience at all in crypto, and would I recommend that he starts purchasing or he said investing. First of all, I don't call it an investment. I call it a gamble, okay? Because it's very high risk. If you have absolutely no experience in crypto whatsoever, you are a fucking idiot to just dive in and start spending money, all right? You need to read, you need to learn, you need to sit there and watch how things are going. You need to understand this cult of crypto, these people who are so dogmatic and they don't want anyone to come in and tell the truth of what's going on. So they hammer you down, they get you banned, they do all kinds of stuff like that. They attack you. I mean, I'm getting some of that right now, but I really don't give a damn. Just be aware of the environment. And the potential of loss. It's a very real thing. This idea that people put out of don't put any more money in than what you're willing to lose. That sounds really good, okay, until you start to put money in, and maybe you lose some money, so you put more money in trying to recoup the funds that were lost to begin with, and you continue to lose money. And sometimes it pumps up, sometimes it doesn't. Be careful out there. That's the rule of the day. Be safe, be secure, be vigilant, pay the fuck attention to things. Don't just take people's word for things. Do your own research. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Criminal Thoughts Podcast. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to tune in and listen to my ass just make some noise for a while. Closing things out, we already said stay safe, stay secure, stay vigilant. We've talked about, I'm doing a lot of episodes on crypto for Criminal Thoughts. Why? Well, because my ass is spending a lot of time in different crypto circles right now. So it makes sense for me to share some of the knowledge that I'm acquiring. Also share some of the knowledge that I've had for a few years. I've just not really done anything as far as trying to make profit on crypto. So we're doing a lot of crypto episodes. We're going to continue to do that. We're also going to continue to do other types of criminal, crime-oriented types of episodes, like Max here. He didn't break the law. He didn't. But I think it's absolutely appropriate to talk about this incident on this podcast, especially with the conspiracy theories tying into that, the crypto slant that comes with that as well. All right. Whatever you do, guys, I know I've said this before, and it's important to understand that there are predators in the water. All right. It's important that you get that. It's important to understand that if you get ripped off, the chances of you getting your money back is extremely slim. Okay. Typically, I'm the guy that a victim contacts me, and I have to be the one that tells them that they're not getting their money back. So please be careful out there. If there's any way that I can help you, let me know. Leave a comment on the show asking any questions. I respond to comments. You can reach out directly to me at brett@thebrettjohnsonshow.com. You can reach out directly there. You can follow me on LinkedIn. Please subscribe. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like about the show. If you don't like it and I do like it, well, you're just up shit creek without a paddle, because I'm going to do what I like. All right. But more often than not, I'll consider what you've said, and I'll try to apply it towards the show as well. That being said, stay safe, stay secure, stay vigilant. At the end of the day, just do the right damn thing. I'm Brett Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.